Chatfield, and joining me in commentary is Madison Brown and Caitlin Thwaite. It is First Nations round, the first of 2 weeks of First Nations round, as we are here to celebrate. The Melbourne Vixens, they're getting ready. Everyone has their First Nations dresses. We'll tell you the story of the artwork as we go. A very important weekend. It's now time to get down to one of our most respected elders in the community here on Wurundjeri country. Auntie Joy Murphy, let's go down for our Welcome to Country.
Welcome to our First Nations round. For our official Welcome to Country, please welcome Auntie Joy Murphy.
Thanks, Pete. Welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. It is here on my father's land that I am so privileged and so honoured to welcome you all yet again to a wonderful match that we were about to see, and of course to pay my respects to all ancestors, elders and communities across this great nation and neighbouring islands. Can I acknowledge all of our community that are with us today, your family and your community, and to each and every one of you that have come along to support the mighty Vixens and the Swifts. I acknowledge you and yours. Our gift is about our belonging. We're known as the Managum people. I'll take this gift on your behalf. I hope you accept it, because it means that you are welcome to everything from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. We also should come together so that we can build a better environment for those to come. Let's enjoy the game. Our language is the Woiwurrung, Wominjaka, Wurundjeri Balak, Yemen, Kundi Big. You are most welcome to the traditional lands of my father, Notchkanwa.
Maddie Brown, what a moment it is here at John Cain Arena. It is a packed house. Earlier in the week, there was only 100 tickets available because everyone wants to see these two traditional rivals.
Well, I think a lot of people think that this could be a precursor to a grand final that we may see here July 8th at John Cain Arena. Both of these clubs have had really close contests in the lead up to it, and the last time they played in round 6, just 1 point was the difference.
What is the advantage, do you think? Let's go through the Woolworths team cards. With the Swifts, I mean, it's that mid-court battle we were talking about. Proud and Hadley, what a superstar lineup.
It is, and I think it's also the role that Taylor Fraser plays at wing defence. She's a great support for them. She does a lot of that grunt work behind the scenes. For me, it's going to be the defenders in nullifying the Vixens' attack nice and early and trying to get, but both teams will know that this game isn't going to be won in the first, second or third quarter. It's going to be about consistency for that 60 minutes.
The Swifts, they're surrounding the centre circle. They're coming together as a team, almost ignoring the Vixens as they run out onto court through Michael Wenda, followed by their superstar goal attacking Kira Austin. We talk about the mid-court. Hannah Mundy's getting the start at wing attack. And of course, keep your eyes on the substitutes for the Vixens. Olivia Lewis played all 60 minutes last time in round 6.
And another thing that happened this week for the Vixens is obviously Rani Samuson has been ruled out for the remainder of the 2023 season, so Kimberly Borgia will take her spot. We haven't seen a lot of her on court, but she might be the secret weapon that the Vixens have up their sleeves come into this final time, because she's a super shot specialist.
And I'm sure we're going to see a bit of super shot specialties on the court for today's game. Player of the match last week, Emily Mannix. Wasn't she outstanding? A big smile on her face. As the lights now, they're back on. We're getting ready for all of the action. The ball is coming out on court. Our umpires for today, Bronwyn Adams and Nathan Begley. Well, this is the game we've all been waiting for. Paige Hadley to get us started. Bryony Akel described this matchup in the week. It's the one-on-one hustle. These teams play so similar.
And you can see that intensity straight away. Oh, great long feed there by Maddie Proud. But it's that one-on-one. You want to nullify your position and try and get on top of your opponent early. Then you can start to move into those defensive structures.
Well, Swifts with early bragging rights. Austin. Across to Maloney. Mundy finds Watson. We spoke about in the pre-game, both teams love to treasure possession and they're happy to take their time.
They do, and what they work really well is that reset back to the transverse line and then change into a different channel and then penetrate down the court so that to try and get depth. So you can see a little bit of crowding here. I'd love to see Austin get in the circle a little bit earlier, but then maybe they're trying to work on that isolation with Kumwenda. So watch how both teams play that nice, easy ball in to get that scoreboard ticking over nicely.
Housby allows Watson to come through. A huge first win for the Vixens. Watson down deep, trying to help out as much as she can, but you can see the Swifts actively in defence. Austin tries to go over the top. Sarah Clow, huge height advantage.
Just not enough on that Harvey Norman replay. Great intercept there by Watson, reading and then keeping the ball in play.
Mundy, another pass across the circle. And Austin keeps the crowd very happy with her first.
It's important as much as you're putting on the pressure. Oh, great feed, straight to that post. That was that really good drive from Austin to the pocket, drawing Clow out. But making sure that you still stay in play to build that pressure. You don't want to draw attention to the umpires too early and be undisciplined.
Aitken George with a strong hold. Not so much a strong take, but it ends up in her hands. What a recruit Aitken George has been for the New South Wales Swifts. Coming in for the injured Sam Wallace, who is also another one like Samuelson, won't be joining the Swifts this season.
Vixen struggling a little bit to get over that transverse line. You see, as you said, Watson being caught quite high. Maybe she needs to get down, create that depth. We've got really good ball handlers in Weston and Maloney on the transverse line, just to provide that extra option down the goal circle.
Proud, quick to get into action. Finds Aitken George, and then that connection we often see between Housby and Aitken George. Caitlin Thwaite spoke about it early in the pre-game around the difference in the Swifts attack line. Housby has been playing a very different game. Aitken George stepping up into her role.
They were quite slow to maybe build that combination and connection, I think, Aitken George and Housby, but they've really found what works, how they can bring the best out of each other. So it's great to see that, great 1-2 there by the goalers of the Vixens. But seeing how those connections develop in a season and how crucial they can be to a team's success.
Keep an eye on that matchup, Maloney and Proud.
Unlucky one there from Watson. She was in front position.
Straight away, we've seen a lot from Watson's defensive game. As we look at the Harvey Norman replay, she looked like she was in good position to get a hand in. Mundy finds Kumwenda. Breaks open the Swiss defenders.
A little bit more movement there by Kumwenda, coming up the centre. Good triangles there by the mid-quarters. It's a real different end-to-end game. You've got that holding shooter, you've got that moving circle of the Vixens. But it's the ball speed from the Vixens that's going to get those defenders' heads turning.
For the first time this game, let's go across to our sideline reporter, Caitlin Thwaites. What are you noticing about the Vixens shooters?
Well, you were just mentioning the change up between, the two different shooting circles, but it's really interesting for me the way that Sarah Clow is so tight one-on-one. I think it'd be a great opportunity for Kumwenda to be driving out of that circle, having Kira Austin hit that post, because Sarah Clow is definitely, she is so tight here. The physicality between these players is next level.
Kumwenda steps forward. You spoke about Clow in for an early deflection.
Hard for these defenders to get any game ball at the moment with the goal as both ends are shooting at 100%.
Sarah Clow, 6th in the league for deflections. We're seeing that a common trend across both of these sides is that they don't dominate any of the top 10s of a lot of the stats. Intercepts, deflections, they're all middle of the range. They share the load.
But I think that's because they're so unpredictable. So when one player might be being nullified, the next person can step up, which is just adding different strengths to your game plan, and not knowing who's going to be able to step up at any given time. It's a real luxury for both teams.
Mannix contests the feed from Hadley. It's an obstruction call. And Aiken George for her 5th. Smart play from Mannix, just a little bit too close. Huge ball from Austin to Mundy.
She took it and didn't go offside. It was just, she was falling to the ground.
Fraser goes long to Hadley. The Swifts walk it one way, find Proud.
One-on-one from every Vixens defensive player, and forcing the wing attack and centre, Hadley and Proud, to those pockets.
And Housby steps in, nails the shot. There's that huge ball. Mundy lucky to not hurt her ankle then. Again, Proud in the exact same position that Mannix gets her hand up.
Just not enough on that feed there from Proud. She needs to pop it above Aiken George's head rather than being a low one in, because that's where Mannix is going to gobble it up all day. Harvey Norman replay, you see it just a little bit short, but she gets that tap and it comes off Aiken George's hands.
There's this inner contest at the Melbourne Vixens between Mannix and Olivia Lewis. You want to be making the most of every minute out on court so you can keep that position on the court.
And I think both defensive ends know that, as I said earlier, it's not going to be one in the first, second or third quarter. You're going to have to grind this out. You're going to have to stay patient. And when the moment comes, that's when you can start to fly.
2 crucial players on your screen from the Vixens, Kate Eddy and Olivia Lewis. But the action back on the court, plenty of superstars, plenty of Diamonds superstars and internationals. The Swifts back into attack. Housby finds Hadley. The Swifts, they're okay to swing the ball across the court. No hesitation on the Swifts' faces. As we see Bryony Akel and Natalie Avellino, the coaching staff from the New South Wales Swifts. Austin to Watson. 1-2 between the Vixens attackers, up and over the top.
It is. It's those little give and goes in the attacking for both teams. They work short, look over the mess, look long.
As a wing attack, how much attention do you pay? Oh, Jo Weston. She was watching that for a long time.
It was a step, though, as you can see here. She gets up to it, lands on the left, steps on the right, and then moves to the left one and places it down before she passes. So really good call there by Bronwyn on the sideline.
And very good pickup from you. The Swift shooters shooting at 100%. Austin, quick one. Clow in for another deflection.
Austin absolutely telegraphed that one. Got to be smart against both defensive teams on this one. Use your balks. That's a better by Mundy. And the swing. Swifts need to really watch on that because the Mundy to Watson triangle swings from the top of to the bottom of the circle. So fast.
A quick one up and over. Mannix with her eyes down. Aitken George makes her pay.
Now, we mentioned in the pre-show that this is when we would have a crack at the super shots. It'd be interesting to see how both teams strategize in this moment. Can you try and push ahead, or you just keep grinding it out with those ones?
We are in the Power 5 now. The last 5 minutes. Don't forget, everything is worth 2 in that white arc. There's our Nissan net points. So far, Liz Watson, Kumwenda and Kira Austin for the Vixens leading the way. Kate Maloney with all the pressure from wing defence. It's 2 goals the difference here at John Cain Arena. Let's get across to Katie Thwaites.
Well, I've been noticing just on the Swifts centre pass here, they're getting that first phase, but they're really struggling with the second phase connection. They've been forced into a couple of long balls that I think the Vixens defenders will start having a look at soon. But for the Swifts, they're forced to take a couple of long passes into Aitken George. I wonder if that's something they're going to address now.
Well, it is a HCF tactical timeout. It's been called by the New South Wales Swifts. We're going to take a listen into their huddle and have a listen to hear what Bryony Akel has to say.
So just push everything in and exaggerate that togetherness. That makes sense? Are you free? Like, you're switching. Yeah. Maybe just let it go in the first one, set up the second. Force it one way. Let's force a goal attack side. Try and just get on a tee. Force sideline. Yeah. Turn and block. Yeah? All right, bring it in, guys. Crazy. You're on that. I'm covering it too early. No, in defense, if you cannot touch your opponent, you are too far off. So wing attack and goal attack, we are smothering. Right, we're going one on for this last minute 20. Let's go, come on. Full speed. Let's go, let's go. Back.
I love that from Bryony Akel. If you cannot touch your player, you are too far off her. So she wants that ruthlessness in defence. She talked about the smothering. We'll see some changes here as Sarah Klaus gets her hands on the ball straight away. She's moved from goalkeeper to goal defence. Sophie Fawn's injected into the game at goal attack, and Houseby's moved back to goal shooter.
No hesitation at all from Bryony Akel to make the changes early. Let's get across to Katie. What were you hearing from the Vixens camp?
Well, the Vixens, it was interesting. We saw the Swifts put out a bit of a box defence in that last little patch, and the Vixens were quick to address that, saying that their movement was too lateral across the court. To beat that box, having that punch up and down and through the middle of that box is what Simone McInnes was asking them.
2 goals the difference. Just over 3.5 minutes on the clock in the first. Proud finds Fawns, can't keep it in on the baseline. And the ball is back in the hands of the Vixens. Mannix powering through in defence. Fraser, she got close, exactly what Akel was asking.
She was, and it was that kind of telegraphing of the pass from Mundy, and she saw it, she came out on that angle, got a little tip to it. This is our first super shot, Helen Housby.
Comes up short, but delivers it straight to Fawns. And our first Suncorp super shot.
That's why she's been put on. There's that Harvey Norman replay. It's too obvious. She came in with that hand. Taylor Fraser, really good defensive pressure and attacking of the ball there.
Scores are even. Watson and Hadley. What a matchup in the middle. And Kira Austin, what an accurate Suncorp super shooter.
Yeah, and that wasn't just in on the line, that was closer to the perimeter. Love to see both teams having a crack though, nice and early, putting that pressure on. Some of the goalers finding their range.
2 goals lead to the Vixens.
Here's the box from the Vixens in defence. She's sitting too high. That split circle moving up and back.
Mannix, she's down. The Swifts, they move the ball quickly. Fawns for her second Suncorp super shot. That is why she's on the court right now. Watson, Maloney, back to Watson. Strong drive from Hannah Mundy. Waikumwenda, she misses, flicks it in.
Stat to B Chatfield on the sideline. Perfect.
I'll take a pickup, thanks.
We talked about the defensive structures from both teams. They were sitting back into that box. Is that because there's two-prong attack? So they're trying to find their sides to try and eliminate them, getting them crossed over, and getting confusion in there?
And trying to create doubt. That is the main thing, especially because there's really no weak spot. Exactly what the Vixens did then. Mannix came flying out, caused the intimidation factor as Proud was running backwards into the pocket. Scores are even. You can feel the intensity and the energy from the court. Both these sides know what a win will mean here today. Forget ladder position. It's the rivalry. It's the one you always want to get. The Sergeant McInnes Cup. Taylor Fraser scoops the ball out of the air.
That was a quick transition from the Swifts. Both teams play so similarly. It's really hard to find that moment to really inject yourself into the game. Another great one from Taylor Fraser. Not enough on that feed on the Harvey Norman replay from Watson, though.
Great positioning from Fraser and great positioning from Maddie Proud. Quick one to Sophie Fawns. So much space for the Swifts at the moment. As that one goes off, Housby does all she can to try and keep it in.
Not setting of the play or stepping on court there. Oh, does she get it?
Sophie Fawns. That was an incredible play. It is a Suncorp super shot to Sophie Fawns as the Swifts, they're now leading by 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena, where currently the Swifts have taken the lead by 3. Now, I'm joined by 2 First Nations athletes that represented Victoria earlier in the year at the Nationals campaign in Darwin. Tully, I'll come to you first. How was that experience and what did you learn?
It was so amazing. It's nothing like I've ever been to. Even though it was very hot up there, it was it's just something like I was just so grateful to be a part of. The girls, the teamwork, just the thrill of the game in general was just amazing to be a part of.
And Alyssa, to you, who's your netball idol? Who do you look up to?
I'd have to say Danelle Wallum. She's just shown that us young girls can go out there and smash it and just make our community proud.
Absolutely, I'm a fan too, so great work. Who do you think's going to win the game here today?
Oh, we got to go Vixens.
Vixens for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, girls.
Oh, what a great interview there for the Origin Energy quarter-time break there, Caitlin. Some future Vixens maybe in the making there, but Nationals, they were such a huge part of my career and your career, Bianca. They're really the starting point for where these young girls get exposed to that elite state versus state. I'm sure they had a really good contest against New South Wales up there as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Maddie. And also when you build the connections with your teammates, because like the Vixens and the Swifts, many of these combinations have played a lot together as juniors. And the Vixens, they're underway quickly. Kumwenda, in her usual positioning, brings the margin back to within 2.
Swifts going back to Romelda Aiken-George, back on court. Great depth on that one, but a little bit overcooked the pass there. And a bit of a stretch there, Romelda.
Aiken-George is like, it's
She's
a long
cramping.
way
You've been
down.
sitting off.
I might as well have a stretch while I'm down here before I stand up. Maloney, struggling for options.
Watson once again getting caught really, really high. It'd be great to see her get down a little bit earlier. It's that difference between that centre and a wing attack role you play, or even a positional swap. Mundy coming up the middle and Watson coming down just to create a little bit of that depth and movement.
one goal the difference. A packed house here at John Cain Arena. All season, this has been the Vixens' fortress. They are unbeaten at home. Can the New South Wales Swifts break this hoodoo? Mundy, oh,
great
beautiful
patience.
ball.
Austin sneaking past on that baseline. We talk about the triangles out the front with that ball movement. It's also the triangles in, as you see on that Harvey Norman replay. It comes straight along the baseline, Austin. Great feed, great timing.
Much better vision and delivery from Housby. Aiken George lets her take the shot as well.
In, long-range ball, great pass by Mundy. She sighted it, she thought about it. She could have gone a little bit earlier, but Cloud just coming back. There she goes, long, fast.
What a delivery from the youngster, 21 years old, Hannah Mundy. The decision-making, it is so accurate. Hadley looks up, finds Aiken George.
The two sitting back on Aiken George, but still, as long as that ball is lifted with enough height, there's really no way that they can even get to it.
The Swifts, they're out by 1. We knew this game would go right down to the wire every single minute.
And I think this comes down to that mental side of the game, that it's going to ebb and flow. There's going to be momentum shifts. You're going to be up, you're going to be down, but being patient and staying in your role and in your game plan for as long as you can. And when the moment arises, that's when you got to take it on.
Shooting stats for the Vixens, sitting around that 85% plus. Housby. Another one, quick over the top to Aiken George. Both teams not really known for their first half performances. They're more known what they do in the back end of the game.
And I think that as we've spoken about, that comes down to that grinding down of your opponent. You hear the coaches talk about win your position first, then you can start to fly, then you can start to look at ways to open up each other or create those opportunities of intercepts.
It's about doing the hard work, the hard grind, as you hear the coaches say. Proud, very quick on the centre pass. You can feel like the Swifts have a plan. Look at our circle feeds there. Liz Watson leading the way. Aiken George demands that Joe Weston stands in the exact right position. Why wouldn't you when you have to be able to play? Watson straight down the middle. Strong hands from Kawenda this game.
And she has. She's been out on the side. She's been up the middle, strong on the hold. And I think that's always, as a feeder, it always gives you confidence when your goalers can pull it in from any angle. They make any pass look good. Not that any mid-quarters throw a bad one.
Of course not.
Rarely.
Well, just as Proud showed, that's how you do it. Kumwenda, she's out, she delivers it. Too low, and Taylor Fraser is waiting in the wings. Hands over pressure, doesn't seem to rattle the Swifts. The momentum is moving.
And they're sitting at 100% of their conversion off game ball compared to the Vixens, a little bit lower than that. So that's the crucial part for the Swifts and why they're sitting 2 goals up, because when they've got those gains, they're actually converting them.
Here the umpire taking control of the game, telling Joe Weston you need to deliver the ball back to the centre. A rule, not that it was changed, but it was a warning from everyone at the start of the season.
You're on notice.
No more fighting for that ball as it comes out of the ring. Watson to Mundy. They're using the middle channel well, the Vixens.
Eyes were down, Clow. Watson sighted, put it in, plenty of height. You're watching both of their attacking games. If they go to the sideline, then they usually look for that centre option. So they go side, they'll look for that middle. Not the right option there by Housby. But even watch this transition from the Vixens. If they get caught to the sideline, they'll look how to recenter it, find some structure there, up the middle.
Katie Thwaites, you've been keeping an eye on Taylor Fraser.
Look, she is doing so much work, being really active in that defence across that transverse line. But I'm most impressed with the way that she's impacted these turnovers. She's been involved in about 3 already, whether it's tips and touches or chase-ups, loose balls. So she's doing a really great job. And potentially, we might see a bit of a change of Liz Watson coming back into that wing attack position to try and eliminate what Taylor Fraser's doing, because I think she's having a great game so far.
Very good pickup we just saw on the screen. Taylor Fraser, 3 games leading the way. It's usually the circle defenders that you see up there in the gains category. Bryony Ake will be very happy, not so much with that. Weston. It looked like another step as she delivered it to Austin.
Disguised it well. That's good. Good ball speed, good movement. See that option. Quick out of transition for the Vixens. Oh, it's missed there.
The Vixens coaching staff, Simone McInnes and Di Honey. It's Di Honey's 150th game with the Melbourne Vixens. She's been a huge assistant coach sitting alongside Simone McInnes for so many years. As we can see, it's a HCF tactical timeout. The Vixens coaches, they're planning what they're going to do, what they're going to say to their team, but we're going to take a listen into the New South Wales Swifts.
Hit circle edge, reset it. We must have a goal. You two are going to switch back. Goal defense, wing defense, or reset. There is no reason to hurl that ball straight in. All right? Go back to us. Go back to what we're good at. Early prep, let the ball go. Get in front, finish your lead. Helen and Paige got to cover middle in transition. Kira is just literally taking that middle spot. Cover middle, go back out. All right? But know where your player is. Do we just be like, I'm still the point, but then everything else is like perfect? All we want is you stay top. Goal defense and wing defense are just staying tighter. Yeah, perfect. Because if it swings high, still the same point, we still squeeze to promote. Be better. Let's go. Let's be disciplined here. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, sweat. Let's go.
Strong from Bryony Ake, she said, be better.
Yeah. And I love the structure she was talking about in that defence end. She wants them to shut down middle, push in, and then force them high and wide. But in attack, no need to put in anything that's going to come off or given to the defenders. You want to reset, you want to go again, go back to those short, sharp movements, do the work.
No risky balls. The Vixens through Kumwenda. Housby. She's the general in attack for the New South Wales Swifts. Doing a huge amount of work out the front. All to give Aitken George the glory under the post. Let's get across to the Katie Thwaites to hear about the Melbourne Vixens.
Yeah, the Vixens were really trying to address the issue of depth in their attack end. So given that Kate Maloney's in that wing defence position, they're really looking at the personnel and the strengths that they can use. Obviously, she's a bit more of an attacker, so being able to get Maloney bringing the ball down a bit deeper and being able to hit their attackers a bit further down the court. So watch out for that one.
Hadley, what a brilliant connection with Aitken George. She saw it early and she let it go.
Yep, Mannix was out flying and hunting for that ball, but was exposed with Aitken George under the post.
Hadley, what a performance she had in last round. 156 Nissan net points, the 4th highest score ever. She certainly is in form, and what a time to be when we've got the World Cup coming up later this year. The Swifts, they're out by 1. Just over 5.5 minutes to play in the second.
still sitting at 100% of their gain to goal rate, the Swifts. So this is where they can put that pressure back on the Vixens, because Vixens have got control of this quarter.
Head-to-head in the history of these two teams in Suncorp Super Netball. The Vixens are 7, the Swifts are 6, and it's a 1 draw. Very evenly matched.
Wing defence, stand beside and away, off the body.
Hadley to Housby. Bit of a cheap shot from Western.
We mentioned there's going to be arms and legs flying. They're long from the goal attack and goal defence down there.
When we talk about the World Cup, Helen Housby and Joe Weston up against each other when England take on the Diamonds. We imagine those two players will be there.
Yep.
There's our Nissen net points match leaders. Equal for Kira Austin and Liz Watson, but Taylor Fraser, brilliant from her. She was only on 8 Nissen net points at the end of last round.
Super shot territory, and Helen Housby goes, I'll nail the first one in quarter 2.
Notice she doesn't get the same reception here at John Cain Arena as what the Vixens do when they nail a Suncorp super shot.
I don't want to give her the confidence, because we've seen how powerful she's been in that, shooting 9 out of 12 last week.
And just behind play, Olivia Lewis has come on at goalkeeper for the Vixens. Look at that, the last 5 goals to the Swifts. Kira Austin for 2. Clow and Turner, they do the lift. It gets the result.
It's nice to see Maddie Turner land on her feet this week. Clow just threw her up in the air and she landed on her bottom.
You love to see it. A partnership between the Swiss defenders that has been building for many, many years. Look at the Harvey Norman replay. Clow throws Turner up to try and get a little bit of height, a little bit more intimidation. And another stat for you, Maddie.
Woo! 1 to Brown. I'm on the scoreboard.
Hadley.
There we go.
Again, splits the Vixen defenders, opens up Aiken George. And the Swifts, they're sneaking away. It's 5 goals of difference.
Vixens came out firing at the start of this quarter, and they've just gone into a bit of a lull. It's been the smart play from the Swifts.
Housby can't sink the 2. Aiken George for 1.
I think they've been changing up that tempo rather than hitting it always on the first option. Maybe tracking in that ball, that fake, going again, not playing into the Vixens defenders' hands.
The Swifts are out by 6. It's a HCF tactical timeout. It's been called by the Vixens. I wonder if they will make any other changes. Let's take in a listen to their coach, Simone McInnes.
Maloney into the middle. Lizzie switched back on to wing attack. Good stuff, hand. Just be switched on still. Don't concede. Liz, just over here. Don't concede like the one.
Yeah, sorry, I thought I had that front one.
We want to put that pressure on.
Okay.
And do the work of trying to get that through on. Pressure on the front, get them up, and the back of the head.
Have a crash at the ball as well, from mine as well.
And just be nice and sure and definite down in this attack, sure and definite and strong in our movement. All right, work the ball. But I reckon you need to do the prelim. We're just doing properly on the move drive.
Let's not. We don't wait for someone else to go in D. We don't wait for someone else to go in attack. We drive hard, we let it go. We have a cracking D here. Let's go. Pick something. 1, 2, 3,
Look at that, the last 7 goals going the way of the New South Wales Swifts. We heard it from Simone McInnes. She's made some changes, Maddie.
She has. She's obviously brought Kate Eddy into that wing defensive position. Liz Watson goes back to wing attack, and Kate Maloney moves into the centre. Maybe trying to get that continuity and that connection of this experienced lineup here. We also see Fawns injected into goal shooter for the Swifts as well.
Changes are plenty here at John Cain Arena. Mannix has just snuck on to goalkeeper for the Vixens as well. So far, the first quarter, it's been the Swifts by 3. In this second quarter, the Swifts lead by 2. Extending their lead out by 5. Housby takes her time, and Weston's quick to get in her way, trying to put all the pressure on her. especially in that Suncorp super shot zone. Fawns for 2.
Timing by Mannix was so good, but she could not deny that 2-point shot from Sophie Fawns.
Let's go across to Katie.
Well, really interesting, guys. We saw Liv Lewis straight after that timeout go straight back out onto court. Obviously, Romelda Aitken-George was on the court when the timeout happened. But the interesting thing, they saw the change of Sophie Fawns coming onto the court and then immediately decided, right, we want Mannix on Fawns. So great to see these coaches also trading blows in their strategy.
We love it. We love the tactics. Bryony Akel and Simone McInnes. We didn't speak about that key matchup, but that sure is one to keep an eye on. Hadley looking for option. Watson gets a hand in, but the Swifts maintain possession. Over the top. It finds Housby. You get the feeling they wanted to.
So hard to know when you've got 2 options. Fawns, can she hit another one? Yes, she can.
Brilliant play from the youngster in Sophie Fawns. That is 5 Suncorp super shots already, and we are still in the first half.
Make it rain 2-point shots, Bianca. I'm here for it.
So far, Sophie Fawns, she's only had 6 Suncorp super shots this season. Now she's got 5 already.
Well, it's obviously a role she knows. She's coming on in that 5-minute time. She's got Sarah Clout everywhere, just trying to get her hands on the ball. But if you know your role, you need to get out there and play your role. So she's probably been putting them up during the week. Can Austin do the same? And down the other end, but she gets a lot more applause here from this Vixens crowd.
We've been seeing it more and more towards the back end of the season. Teams making the most of it. Weston knocks it out of Hadley's hands. It ends up in Fawns.
Double jump by the Vixens, but Fawns comes up with the rebound.
And Housby, her attempt, she lands it.
Vixen supporters didn't like it, but that is a basic coaching call to a shooter. It leaves your hands, you know where it's going, you pick up those rebounds.
It is a 7-goal lead to the New South Wales Swifts. We speak about John Cain Arena being a fortress for the Melbourne Vixens, but the Swifts don't look like it's bothering one little bit. Let's get down to Caitlin Thwaites.
I've got Liz Watson here. It is an absolute battle on your hands. Were you expecting it to be this close?
Oh, absolutely. They're a great team. I think those 2-point shots we need to really address because we feel like we're in it, but the scoreboard's probably not really showing that as much.
We've seen lots of changes from the Swifts, but also from you guys. How do you go about adapting in the moment to those?
Yeah, I think obviously addressing what they do, and they've made changes throughout the season, so we are definitely aware of their different combinations, and you can really see they're bringing Sophie on to shoot those 2s, and it's working really well for them. So I think, we practice all these combos all the time, so it's just about adapting probably quicker than what we are.
And both of these teams, you both won 7 out of 10 last quarters, so what do you need to do in the third to make sure it doesn't come down to that?
Oh, I think bring this I guess, scoreboard back and actually just come out with a bit more intent. I think once they call the timeout, we come out a bit slow and it's probably letting us down a little bit. So 2 or 3 minutes can really blow out in this game. So
I'll let you catch up on this umpire chat going on. Captain, head to work.
We'll keep an eye on that as well. Thanks, Katie. Don't forget, coming up after today's game, the Giants Netball take on the Queensland Firebirds at Ken Rosewell Arena. Don't miss any of the action right here on Fox Netball. We'll be back with our halftime show. It's the Swifts by 7. Welcome back to John Cain Arena. Taylor Fraser from the New South Wales Swifts. Hasn't she been in great form? It's the New South Wales Swifts leading the Melbourne Vixens by 7 at John Cain Arena, their very own fortress. We hear about it all the time. And don't forget, a top 2 position on the ladder is up for grabs. Maddie Brown, how have you seen this first half play out?
Oh, well, they're both playing such a similar game style. It just ebbs and flows, but it really is about the finer little moments in the game that they can capitalise on. So, yeah, it's been hotly contested, Katie. It hasn't been from the sideline.
It absolutely has. You can see the strategy and the tactics. One of them does this, then the other one adjusts. So it's so impressive to watch.
Let's take a look at the match summary. I'm going to put you two under the pump because is there anything separating these two teams?
There really isn't a lot at all. And we just heard Liz Watson obviously going into the break talking about the super shot. They haven't obviously had as many or scored as many. So that's where that 7-point differential on the scoreboard's coming from.
But for me, B, it's about the 1%ers. We don't necessarily see it in the stats reflected, but, you know, all of those 1%ers, the tips and chases, the way that these players are reacting or positioning their bodies that's going to put them at an advantage.
If we take a look at the Vixens attack, we're in their meeting room right now, but the Vixens attackers, we've seen some changes. Where do you think they're going to come out and start for this second half?
Well, I think they'll stay as is. I mean, we've seen both teams change their lineups at times, but it has been how seamless they can adapt to it and quickly they can inject those impact players into the game. I think they'll stick with where they're at and just maybe solidify for a little bit. For me, it's just making sure that they keep it low, keep it out of the defenders' hands of the Swifts. Use their ball speed. When they side it early and they let it go, they are really unstoppable to break apart. So really short, sharp, multiple options, and doing the work early. We've heard McInnes speak about prelims.
Yeah, so that the body's not right on them. But I think for me, we've seen the Vixens letting the ball go on some of those longer leads, which is really nice. But I think a lot of the play has been a bit higher up in that attack third. I would love to see them just getting that depth into the circle and being able to work the ball around, work the angles closer to the post, closer to the circle.
One player we know who gets a lot of depth, she is the playmaker, is Liz Watson in attack. What have you made of her performance so far?
Well, I think she won the centre position battle against Maddie Proud. She was really dominant with the ball in hand. She got her hands in defence, to some balls in defence as well. But she's just been a real settler in that centre. She'll obviously go back to wing attack. I think she'll stay there for a little bit just to control the tempo a little bit more and work along that transverse line with Austin. But, yeah, she definitely had the upper hand on Proud for me.
And I think, you know, Liz, obviously it's a more familiar position. She does a lot of the goal assists for the Vixens, even from that centre position. But going into that more familiar role of the wing attack, I think the centre pass structure and the understanding between Austin and Watson is what they will be looking for in that change.
Well, of course, we have to spend a lot of attention on the Swifts, and in their attack especially, when they move the ball quickly, they're making really smart decisions.
They did, and they changed the tempo a little bit in that second quarter. Rather than just delivering on the first second, they put in some fakes, working on the 2-second, the 3-second. They made the Vixens have to work that little bit harder, but then exposed them a few times when they went out hunting right underneath the post. So really good play there. They started to move around in those triangle positions, but for me, they also are still getting quite wide on the circles. So I'd love to see them still owning the top from the middies as well.
We've seen some changes too. The Vixens in defence, they're having to try and counteract what they're facing, and especially in the power 5. Sophie Fawns comes on and does damage, but Mannix, we've seen Olivia Lewis. It's pretty impressive, isn't it, the versatility both of these sides have?
Absolutely, and they've got clear roles within that, so it's really great to see the coaches know that the players are on top of the role that they need to play when the different personnel changes are out there. So not afraid to be chopping and changing, throwing people on right out of the gate. But for me as well, the work that Jo Weston is doing, she's riding the body of Helen Housby, and that's got to take a toll by the time we get to the fourth quarter.
One player for the Swifts that has been a standout with the pressure she's been putting on at wing defence, that is Taylor Fraser. What have you made of her performance?
We spoke about it at the top, how she just works so hard. She doesn't sometimes take the speckies, although we saw her get a hand on it there, but she really grinds down her opponent and makes them work for every pass. And as you said, Katie, that relentless pressure and grinding for 60 minutes can wear those attackers down. She's also really pivotal, I think, in the transition for the Swifts. She's a really good ball handler as well.
And very, very solid in defence. Now, why is netball important to you, and what does the game mean to you? Brought to you by Suncorp. We'd like you to submit your entry in 50 words or less, along with a video or image of you and your club to foxsports.com.au/Suncorp, or you can go to this QR code on your screen right now for your chance to win a family membership to the Suncorp Super Netball Club of your choice for the 2024 season. Now, here is Telia Dean's entry. And netball is important to her, both her and her daughter, as they have the greatest bond over netball. How cute. Telia loves watching her daughter's improvements and building confidence and friendship during training sessions and on game day. Don't we all? Welcome back to Fox Netball. It's halftime here at John Cain Arena. The Swifts, they're out to a 7-goal lead against the Vixens. The Swifts sitting second on the ladder. The Vixens currently in 4th position. Anything can happen at the end of this game. As we get started, this is the first week of First Nations round. It's 2 rounds dedicated to celebrating First Nations and gathering as one. Maloney from the Vixens, she's in centre. Both teams specialists for their second half.
Good swing there from Watson to Maloney at the top of the circle.
Let's go across to the Melbourne Vixens coach, Simone McInnes. Thanks for joining us, Simone. What have you made of the first half?
Oh, look, it was, for us, there was some really good stuff. I thought we moved the ball really well at times, but I think that work rate off the ball dropped off a little. Our defensive pressure dropped off and allowed them a bit of a bang time in that super shot time.
Yeah, you talk about the super shot. They've scored 9 to your 3. Have you talked about some strategy? Sorry to put that stat out there. Have you talked about some strategies to nail it in this second half?
Yeah, but it's also about being brave ourselves. Doesn't mean we have to go for ones. We're capable shooters, but being really clear in that super shot time what we want from each other defensively in that circle.
And defensively, you said to get your hand on some more ball, we see Liv Lewis and Emily Maddox interchanging. What different roles are they playing in today's game?
Oh, look, I think it gives them something to do, different to think about on the feed, but I think Kate, we needed to lift with Kate and Kate Eddy, defensive pressure and holding up that ball in that attack end to try and slow it down. It was coming in too fast at times, so this is much better pressure, so continue that sort of work rate.
Well, we'll let you enjoy the pressure that your team are putting on in the second half. Thanks for joining us, Simone.
Thanks, Fee.
6 goals the difference. The Swifts, through Housby, they've got their usual attack line that we often see. Can't get much better positioning from Olivia Lewis in keeper.
No, and we've spoken about that weight on the ball in the past. If it's high enough, she can't do anything. She's front position, she's moving her feet, she gets all the way up, but just too much on that one, as we see on the Harvey Norman replay. But once again, it's about that persistent pressure. Keep going for it, have a crack. One might fall a little bit short.
Austin turns and steadies. And Turner, she falls over behind play, but she keeps it in. The Swifts can be versatile in defence. There's not really a mismatch in height between Maddie Turner and Michael Mwenda.
Both teams have that luxury to be able to just interchange between lots of different positions on court.
Proud to Hadley.
Box from the Vixens here, shutting down that middle channel. And that's probably the luxury they don't have, is that punch from the goal shooter up the middle of the holding circle of Aitken George.
Keep an eye on your screens. Olivia Lewis working the front position from Aitken George, but a really strong hold from Aitken George. As the Swifts extend their lead to 9. Look at that, the last 3 to the Swifts. The Vixens, they break the momentum.
Austin just hanging out a little bit there and isolating Mwenda under the post to give her that space for that hold.
They're really seeing the option from Aitken George really strongly now, really clear, and they're giving the ball.
And we heard Coach McInnes talk about that separation, you know, holding the centre court up and even Housby up high and wide to just create that extra length and distance to hopefully lift the ball up, and that's where Lewis can come and have a crack and fly.
Hadley with a hand in, disrupting the flow.
Swifts have silenced the crowd here. There's not a lot of impact or energy here being generated by John Cain Arena supporters here for the Vixens.
It's eerily quiet, isn't it?
It is. We're not used to hearing this.
And quite often,
not hearing them.
That's right, quite often, as the Vixens get closer, if they get closer, they will have an impact. But at the moment, the Swifts, what a flying start to this second half.
Patient play, they're prepared. We spoke about it earlier as well. They go middle, they go wide, they see those down the line options, and then in. Great sighting there by Maddie Proud. She's starting to come into the game a little bit already in this second half. We spoke about she was quite quiet and Watson had contained her early.
Pre-game, it was about the mid-court matchups we spoke about. All the Diamonds players up against each other. All very smart players. It is a HCF tactical timeout. There's a lot of bib swapping going on for the New South Wales Swifts. We're going to take a listen into the Vixens huddle as Katie Thwaites keeps an eye on the Swifts.
Let's reset now. So let the ball go when it's on. Drive with conviction like you want the ball. And let's work out that top in defence. Too easy. All right? You want this. You want to be competing here. You've got a choice here to work for it. And you can do this, guys. Ball by ball. Play by play. Mix up that centre pass. But you're on the second that you don't have to be up there. So mix it up. We have to put more pressure on that first phase against centre pass. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Lift here. Come on. Do it. Rough it in. Let's go, girl. Step it up. How about this time out? Really go. Let's go. Mix on 3. 1, 2, 3, mix.
I always love the insight into these huddles. It was really simple from McInnes. We're making simple mistakes. It's all about driving with conviction. I love that. Whether you're in defence or attack, you drive like you want the ball. Make sure you've got those backup options. And it was just that confidence boost to say, you've got this, but they're not going to give it to you. You've got to work for it.
Here's the live ladder on your screens. The Swifts sitting comfortably in that second position if the game stays the way it is. Let's go across to Katie Thwaites. We'll get to Katie in a second. Emily Maddox has entered the game at goalkeeper. Olivia Lewis off the court. Let's try Katie Thwaites again. What were you hearing from the Swifts?
Well, I love hearing some really great and stern, strong messages from a coach that's got a big smile on her face. She's clearly happy with the way that the Swifts are going. But asking from her players, a lot of the time they're leading away from the ball, so they're having to pop that ball up and over the top to their players. She's wanting to have that punch coming straight at the person.
Maloney shocked with the call, but the Swifts, they're going to make it pay on the scoreboard. Have a look at the Harvey Norman replay here.
It's a pretty clean take for me.
Looked like clean air for Kate Maloney. Kumwenda.
Was that call of maybe an elbow coming in a little bit earlier before the tape? But sometimes when you're chasing and you're trying to get that one momentum or one pull to try and change and shift it for your team, it's really hard to do when you're fighting from behind.
The clash between Housby and Weston, all on the take. As you can see, Weston's shoulder strapping just coming loose on there. That was an injury from an impact in the game last week against the Thunderbirds. The Swifts, they're out by 11, just over 8 minutes to play in the third. The New South Wales Swifts have led pretty much all game. They won the first quarter, they won the second quarter, and they're winning this third quarter by 4. Kumwenda for 1. The hands of Sarah Clow, 191 centimetres. She is towering over them in that circle. Aitken George, back to Hadley.
There's that punch up the middle that Aitken was asking for. And the danger is that the Swifts have obviously in the first half utilised the 5 minutes for the super short, brought Fawns on and started to push these leads ahead. So Vixens need to make sure they're a little bit closer in the next couple of minutes.
As the leaders in our Nissan net points, Helen Housby, 68. She's shooting 11 from 11 and then 2 from 4 in the super shot. Been really impressed with Helen Housby this season. The whole of the team started off slowly, but she's really come home strong. Kira Austin just making sure the sweat is off the court. And the Swifts through an overload centre pass. Fraser finds Clow. Housby up and over the top.
Too far out for Aiken George. We know she just likes to be maybe that 1 and a bit metre away. Know your range, know where you can be efficient.
Stick to your strengths.
Yep.
Watson to Kumwenda. Maloney covered by 2 Swifts.
Timing's probably a little bit out for the Vixens for me. It's just one, then the next person goes. You've got to have those multiple options to try and keep the defenders having to guess where it's going to go. So it's a little bit too stagnant rather than being a little bit active. Maybe this is the momentum shift they need, though.
A win back through the Vixens. Kate Eddy to pressure on the centre pass. The ball straight over the sideline. The pressure from the Swifts, the defensive pressure. They want it back.
And even looking at both benches, you see the Swifts up and out of their seats, getting up, trying to create that energy. Vixens, on the other hand, sitting there, not really generating much for their side, which is what they probably need right now.
You can see the Swifts bench players. There's Olivia Lewis and Kim Borgia, but the Swifts are standing up. They are on a mission. Sophie Fawns with the goal shooter bib on. We've got just over 5 minutes to play in the third. 9 goals, the difference. Fraser, she's in everything. She's shocked that one didn't go her way. Let's go across to Katie.
Just wondering why it is that the Vixens haven't been able to expose the mismatch down there with Turner on Kumwenda, but I think it's the fact that they're really struggling to be able to penetrate and get that ball, the depth to be able to expose that mismatch. We've just seen Sophie Fawns come on behind play, the super shot time, ready to light it up with these 2 options.
Fawns just for 1 this time, but I get the feeling there'll be some 2 attempts as Bryony Akel just nods in agreement. Hadley winning the battle at the moment between Eddy and Hadley. Housby across to Fawns. Here she goes. An incredible Suncorp super shot.
Danger time here for the Vixens. Kira Austin not being able to hit the range as well as Sophie Fawns down the other end. Kumwenda, it's time to shine. Yes, there she goes. She heard me. Perfect.
She's listening in to you, Maddie. Kumwenda. She's 2 from 3 Suncorp super shots. Sophie Fawns has already equalled her season total of 6 Suncorp super shots just in this game today. And here she goes again.
Same spot. Same result. There she goes.
Not even the Vixens. Double defence could slow down the youngster. This has been a huge couple of minutes for the New South Wales Swifts. They're out by 12. Look at that on her shooting graph. All pretty much in similar positions. Kira Austin for 2. A little tap out from Turner. And Watson tries to sneak around.
We've seen how dominant Austin can be on that shot, but she's just not being able to hit it today. Is it time for the injection of a Kim Borgia? I mentioned she is a long-range shooting specialist. No better time to test what she can do under this pressure. Can she bring the deficit back? I'd love to see the injection of her into the game.
Borgia, so far this season, she's only played 1 minute out there on court, but there'd be no time like now. You don't want to bring her on probably in finals. You would rather test it out now and see what she can do. Western under all sorts of pressure from Helen Housby. 12 goals the difference. 2 minutes, 15, Sarah Clow.
Not the right option. You can see even the attackers of the Vixens all being drawn up into the middle third. There's just not that allowing of space. They're all trying to go at the same time. Need to get back to sometimes working together as units. So the goal attack and wing attack starting together. It's the basic 1 option, 2 option, go again.
And when there is only 1 option, you really do notice the Vixens are fixated on who they're going to pass to. A win for Eddie.
Or a flop from Maloney. Take it as you wish.
Kumwenda, cross to Maloney. And Austin flicks it straight to Kumwenda, gives her a chance.
Good protection on the shot, but she couldn't hit it. And Turner again gets the tap and chases up the loose ball.
You get the feeling there's a lot of strategy behind that tap from Turner. Fawns out of the circle. Wants a quick 1-2 with Hadley. 13 goals difference. It stays 13. The crowd are cheering that one. They're not happy with what's happening here at John Cain Arena, but I'm sure all the New South Wales Swiss fans tuning in will be very happy with what they're seeing.
Vixen just not being able to nail the 2-point shot today. And then it's going straight down the other end, and they're paying for it.
40 seconds. Housby.
Happy to secure the 1.
30 seconds. What can the Vixens do? Look at that, 9 Suncorp super shots so far for the Swifts, and we've still got a quarter to play. Watson caught flat-footed, Proud in with a deflection. 14 goals the difference. Helen Housby.
Oh, and another one! Maddie Proud so excited at the top of the circle on that one.
The 10th Suncorp super shot for the New South Wales Swifts.
Can they get another one?
Fawns runs out of time. 16 goals the difference here at John Cain Arena. The New South Wales Swifts are leading the way.
So how are we going to get ball? We're going to get ball, we're going to finish this strong, we're going to think we're chasing, so let's, where are we wanting, where are we pushing, when we are one-on-one, where do we want to put it? So I hope you can even be in front and release that one that you can come out.
Play in front of your player and just like open it up.
That was quarter time thanks to Origin Energy. Simone McInnes, the Vixens coach, demanding that her players get the ball. Welcome back to Fox Netball. The Vixens, they haven't put on their best performance so far because the New South Wales Swifts have been dominant across every single quarter. You see Joe Weston on your screen, but Maddie Brown, there's been some changes.
They have, they've heard me. They've heard me. We see Watson come into centre, Mundy back into wing attack, I think just to bring a bit more energy and spice, and Kim Borgia to goal shooter. There's no better time to try her out there. Now is the time for the Vixens. We also see Liv Lewis back into goalkeeper. The crowd's getting up and about. If there's any reason for the Vixens to come home, it is now.
16 goals, the difference. Let's get across to Katie. What were you hearing in the Swifts camp?
Well, in the Swifts huddle, it was so great to hear from assistant coach Nat Avellino. She was going straight to the attack end and the shooters, demanding them to get intercepts. So really awesome to hear that they're wanting to apply that pressure right from the start. Defensively, though, she was Bryony Akel was talking to Maddie Turner about her positioning and not covering the pocket balls too early. She wants her to have a fly and get her hands on that ball, so don't go there too early.
We spoke about the key matchup between the two coaches, Bryony Akel and Simone McInnes.
Kim Borgia is a really smart player. She's been the go-to bring-in player for the Vixens over a number of years. The 34-year-old has only been on the court in the round 7 game against the Firebirds, and just for a couple of minutes.
She missed that first one, which would have been a really good settler for her, but you've got to understand some of these shooters, they've been sitting there cold for 3 quarters. She just needs a moment to just warm back up into it, find her feet. But I'm going to be interested to see how she brings her court smarts into this game as well.
Housby and Weston. No love lost between this matchup. The physicality, they're at each other. The Vixens come up with a win. Watson balks it one way, has to go back. Austin, tried to find Borgia. Look at that. 3 to 4 bad passes on the screen right now. Is that what you would expect in a game like this?
Well, both teams are sitting at 11 and 11 for the Vixens and 12 general play turnovers for the Swifts. Like, it's very low. They haven't coughed up a lot. If anything, it's usually been from loose balls or deflections and things like that, not so much terribly bad passes. So we talked about their possession style of play for both teams, and they've definitely played like that.
Helen Housby dominating the Nissan net point. She's sitting on 91. Followed by Watson, but Hadley and Fraser. We spoke about Fraser at halftime. What a performance from the wing defence, playing a real shutdown role on the Vixens attackers. Watson to Borgia.
That's a close one for her.
The crowd here, they love to see it, as Olivia Lewis is taking risks all over the court down there.
Well, they spoke about it in their 3/4 time break. They do need to be accountable for their own, but they actually have to start flying. They might create that snowball effect. If you fly, someone else comes in behind you. You might not get every pass, but you might just make them second guess. A great change of angle back to the post there from Austin. Get them moving.
The Swifts have built over the game. 17 goals lead at the moment. 18 goals now through Aitken George. We spoke about their dominant performance last week against the Magpies. They won by 29 goals. They're really starting to fire at the right time of the season.
Both goalers setting some really good screens in the circle there. Austin holding out for Borgia.
I want to keep an eye on Weston and Housby. There is a lot of physicality off the ball. You can tell these two players know each other so well. Weston not giving an inch.
And it's when this fatigue starts to set in that you stop running onto the ball. You get a little bit ill-disciplined, I guess, with the take, or you're a bit closer on the body. You're not moving your feet as much in defence.
Housby looking so composed.
So Bianca's saying, bring on the biffo. Love it.
Well,
cleanly.
It's all about timing. And that was very late from Liz Watson. Fraser to Clow. Across to Hadley.
So you can come back up into that square. They're going to make the change straight away.
Borgia off, Kumwenda on.
Just not enough time maybe to just really connect with those players out there for her. Maybe just an opportunity to get your eye in, hopefully bring her back when the power 5 comes into play.
The Swifts, they're finding it easier to get to post as this game goes on. Mundy. Walks one way. Kumwenda.
the first time this season we've seen Kumwenda go off the court. She's played every minute of the season up until today's game. And the only other Vixens player to do that is Liz Watson.
It's a lot of minutes.
Especially for a mid-quarter, as you would know, buddy.
Plenty of running around. Oh, Viv Lewis! It's not the high one, it's the low one, but she was off her feet, but she kept going for it. Is this the shift that the Vixens need to get themselves back in?
Look at the pickups. 9 to the Swifts, 7 to the Vixens. Can the Vixens make it count? 19 deflections for the Swifts. Look at this Harvey Norman replay here.
That's that snowball effect, as I said. Western contests, but it's the loose pickup from Lewis in the end.
Much better timing from Mundy to Kumwenda.
Good connection on the pass. The eyes are up. Confidence to let that ball go. Swifts here just need to continue to nail their centre pass, continue to put that scoreboard pressure on. Nothing fancy, no real big risks, just keep churning that scoreboard over.
Proud attempts it again, but Liv Lewis is all over it.
I did speak about that in a break. Another way to attempt to try and get that hand on ball is attacking the pass rather than attacking the contest.
Austin, smart play. Now this is when the crowd at John Cain Arena come into it.
Harvey Norman replay, Liv Lewis attacks that pass, up she gets, and then she follows through and gets 2 hands on the ball.
16 goals, the difference. It's a HCF tactical timeout. It's been called by the New South Wales Swifts. They can feel the change. They can feel the crowd getting involved in this game as the Vixens start to get some turnovers. Let's take a listen into Bryony Akel.
Okay, you two are still hanging wide rather than looking for each other. Take the pressure off of hurling it straight in. Giving but still look in. Still fake it, but work it in with each other. We fake the feed. If we've got to cut the ball, we fake the feed. Yeah, that's going to. Remember, if it's the box through that middle side. Yeah. So we don't get into goal in the crowd. We must reconnect. Those fast squeeze controls, I reckon. So back to us. That's on me, guys. I'll take breath. Yeah. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3 here. We have dominant defense. We need discipline in attack. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, Swift.
Word of the day, discipline, Bianca. They want to be disciplined in attack, disciplined in defence. They've weathered a surge from the Vixens, but it's all about working the ball short in attack and threatening long, but working short and keep ticking that scoreboard over.
Let's get across to Katie to hear what happened in the Vixens camp.
Well, the Vixens, I'm so impressed. When the Vixens need someone to stand up, how many times has it been Liv Lewis? She's the one that injects herself into these moments and really creates that momentum shift. For me, the Vixens, if they're going to have any chance at this, they need to start making headway early, and that's exactly what they've done. They need to start taking some of these risks to be able to bring back this deficit.
Don't forget the Sergeant McInnes Cup is up for grabs after 2 absolute champions of our game, Simone McInnes and Anne Sargent. Before this game, the Swifts had 1 hand on that cup, and they'd be very confident at the moment that they could have that in their hands by the end of the game. They lead by 15. Clow, another deflection. She's got 8 deflections already. Look at the Harvey Norman replay. She really does dominate the height in that circle.
And it's not always getting 2 hands or cleanly taken. It's just putting that doubt in the feeder's mind that next time you feed it, I'm going to probably get up there and get that one. She goes again.
Mundy, Kumwenda.
A little goaler-to-goaler pass, work it short.
Even that one looked like it was going to be easy for the Vixens, but the Swifts have a way to get a hand in. Disrupt the momentum, disrupt the play. As our Nissan net points match leaders, Helen Housby extends it out to 104 now.
What deficit do you think the Vixens have to be within reach? Oh, they nearly... Kira Austin gets her hands on one. What is the number, do you think, if we head into the Power 5, that they need to be close, within reach of?
I would probably say if it's 10 goals of difference, it's possible.
Possible.
Turner, looking for an option. Proud's on her own.
Ah, Kira Austin! She's known for getting her hand on ball. Maloney missed that long-range option, but chooses to be disciplined and work it short. Make sure they get this one.
Intercepts. Vixens leading that by 2. We know both teams, they don't often sit high up in those stats, but Kira Austin, every single game we see an intercept to her name. 12 goals the difference, Maddie.
We're close, we're heading into that Power 5. You said 10 and they're going to say it's 12.
You can hear the crowd. Austin, oh, it rims out.
Oh, but she fights for that, but Maddie Turner gets possession of the ball.
You have to give the New South Wales Swifts plenty of credit. The way they are playing out this game. Turner to Fraser. Fawns in at goal shooter. It's a double dodge on the baseline. The Swifts can't see her. The pressure is mounting.
Good patience to work it back, reset. They're not happy with the option. You've got people back behind you to go again. Try a different avenue into her towards goal.
Housby for 1. Extends out the Swifts lead. The Vixens, they're winning this last quarter so far. Proud to Hadley. 11-8 in the final quarter, as you can see on your screens, but it's another win to the Vixens.
Missed communication there from the goal. Oh, Helen Housby, have a shot.
She steals it.
Take the intercept, have the shot.
Brilliant pressure from the Swifts in attack, the way they transition into defence.
But it's a missed shot and Weston comes up with the rebound. Vixens have no time to waste here. They have to transition nice and quickly down.
Mundy straddles the sideline.
Cloud does the splits in the circle.
Kumwenda. It looked like Turner was trying to lift Cloud then, but it doesn't necessarily work in the reverse.
The other way.
And a great tap in from Maddie Turner. We've seen her strategically tap it in the direction of Sarah Cloud. Fraser to Proud. What a performance from Helen Housby.
Swifts happy to secure just a 1.
What does this game mean for these teams? To win this game, what does that mean going into finals?
Well, I think it's not only the contest and knowing, you know, you have close encounters, you can also push this lead ahead. I think it's the psychological edge that the Swifts can take into finals, knowing that, oh, Kira Austin tries to get one back, but it is that mental edge that you take in, knowing, you know what, we can win at home and we can win away, and that John Cain Arena Fortress has now been lost to the Vixens, and the Swifts know that they've got the edge on it.
2 minutes and 5 seconds. 12 goals, the difference. The Swifts, we know they love a possession game. And Fawns with the roll-off. The ball ends in her hands.
Hadley so patient to work it around, go again. That work rate is lifted for the Swifts.
Their execution and timing is really brilliant to watch. As Kira Austin, another brilliant shooter. We know she can shoot in the clutch moments.
Finding a range, but it might just be a little bit too late. It really has been the accuracy on the super shot. Kumwenda sitting at 33% and Austin at 50%, compared to Fawns and Housby around that 70 and 60% mark.
Hadley to Housby. They're happy to take their time until they find the option. And the Swifts, they're out by 12. Maloney through to Austin as the Swifts sit back. They cover the lead.
Good tip. Helen Housby tries to hold on to Kate Maloney. She's like, I don't think so.
Absolutely worth a try. Austin, she shot 4, she makes it 5. 10 goals the difference now, but there's only 30 seconds left.
Weston comes through, 2 hands on the ball. Can they get another 2-pointer here?
Austin again for 2. Now there's 8 goals the difference. But it's probably a little too late for the Vixens this run home. The New South Wales Swifts, what a performance. Mundy to Kumwenda. And you can hear the siren. An incredible win for the New South Wales Swifts. They have won, the first team to be able to beat the Melbourne Vixens at home here at John Cain Arena. What a preparation for their final series.
And they securely take away the Sergeant McInnes Cup. We even spoke about earlier as well, like, it seems to be that these teams have years where they dominate. It was the Swifts, it was then the Vixens. No, never have they actually in the last 5 years shared the win to loss ratio. So another really solid performance there by the Swifts.
And the Swifts will be very happy, especially with their first 3 quarters. The final quarter, the Vixens managed to win by 8, but it was a very dominant performance from the Swifts. Every player on the court really played their role.
They did, and they made changes, and they came on, they knew what they had to do. Some really solid grinding performances from a Taylor Fraser out there, Maddie Turner out the front, Cloud getting her hands on balls. They had contributors all over the court, and that is so hard to beat.
Let's get down to Katie Thwaites with the player of the match.
No surprises here, guys. Helen Housby, congratulations on the win. You had today 100% from the 1-point range and about 60% from the 2-point range. But for me, the most impressive stat for you was the 18 goal assists. Was that a huge focus for you this week, or was that something that you just play what's opening and what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I just play what's open, and Diddy quite often is open under the post, so having someone like her as a tall target, but then when we bring Fawns on and she can shoot the 2s, yeah, I like being able to assist my other shooters. Yeah, that feels good to have a good performance, but I think I was really proud of that team performance, especially that 3rd quarter, really exciting.
And tell us about that rotation. You guys seem to be able to pull those changes and just slip into those changes really seamlessly.
Yeah, I mean, that probably comes down to a very, very long pre-season. We've played together for a long time, and yeah, it's just about knowing each other's game, and I think having that ability to switch on so for the 2-point time is really huge for us, and she just comes on seamlessly. You'd never be able to tell how young she was. She just comes on with so much confidence.
And for you guys heading forward, how important was that win, obviously trying to secure that top 2 position heading into finals?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, we saw that the T-Birds got the win yesterday, so yeah, we want to solidify our point in the top 2 so we can get 2 chances to get to the grand final. We've definitely got stuff to work on. I think that last quarter we were 20 ahead at one point and it's finished only 8 ahead. So yeah, we can definitely be a lot better, and we're going to have to be come finals.
Awesome. Well, a confidence-building win for you from you guys. Thanks so much, and congratulations on the MVP.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, there we have it. Helen Housby, our player of the match. Maddie, let's take a look at the match summary and really what happened in this game, because at halftime it was really the only super shots were the difference.
Yeah, and you look at the shooting accuracy, and 77 is well below par for the Vixens, but it's those gained possessions for me, 14 for the Swifts compared to 8 of the Vixens, and it was also the percentage in which they converted those gained possessions. Turnovers pretty easy, penalties pretty much the same, and although it felt like Swifts had complete run of the whole game, they had 49% of the possession, Vixens taking on 51. So it was really close, but it was that super shot accuracy in the end and the way and strategy that the Swifts utilised it to their advantage. They had Aiken on for 10, then they had Fawns coming on for that final 5.
Now, this is the ladder as it stands right now. The Swifts have secured their spot in that top 2 for the moment. And the Vixens sitting in 4th. And of course, we do have the game coming up, the Giants and the Firebirds following us. The Sergeant McInnes Cup is now being handed over. The 2022 winners, the Vixens, handed over to the Diamonds teammates, Maddie Proud and Paige Hadley. So now it is 10 times since 2008 that the Swifts have secured the Sergeant McInnes Cup, and only 6 times to the Vixens.
And as I said, it is that kind of mental edge that when you're so close with the way that you play, and it can really, momentum shifts happening in between, you really need to know that if you can put on that bit of a mental or psychological edge when you've got the chance to do it, you know you can win from home, you can win away. It's a great stat for the Swifts to have, I think. And
as we can also see, it's Di Honey's 150th game, a very close mate of Simone McInnes and former Diamond as well. A great partnership they have as coaches. But today's game has been all about the New South Wales Swifts. They knew it was going to be a challenge coming down here to John Cain Arena, taking on the Fortress, but no longer. They own it, and what a great preparation it is for the Swifts in the lead up to the grand final, if they make it, to be able to know they can win on this court.